Hey Barrelheads, we each created 5 mystery blends using whiskeys from all over the world. Bourbon, Scotch, rye, and even some wild cards.
The result? 10 Frankensteins. Some came together in unexpected, beautiful ways, and some are absolute abominations. Let's see which ones are worth making. Now let's talk about the concept of Whiskey Frankenstein. Now you may have heard of something called buff turkey. That's wild turkey bourbon that was distilled at Buffalo Trace. It was wild turkey's mash bill, but the yeast and grains were both Buffalo Trace. Neither distillery sold it as its own, so it was eventually sold to brokers and non-distilling producers like Nashville Barrel Company.
This stuff essentially reached cult status, and that got us thinking, what if we intentionally create our own Frankenstein blends? Not just 2 bottles thrown together, but real experiments. And here's the twist. I'll be tasting and rating Ryan's blends, and he'll be doing the same to mine.
At the end of each one, in keeping with the Frankenstein theme, we'll decide if it's worthy of life or if it belongs in the whiskey graveyard. I'm ready to start blending.
I'm ready. I've been ready. I want to drink.
Let's do it. Maybe he doesn't need to drink. All right, first up, I'm kicking this one off with a classic. I'm gonna call this one the 1915. It's a 50-50 blend of Old Forester 1910 and 1920.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a new idea. Think of it as almost kind of like a poor man's President's Choice from Old Forester. So the 1910 is gonna bring that desserty chocolate and oak, while the 1920, that one's gonna hit high with the high proof, the spice, the caramel. So it should be an interesting combo.
I'm sure it is. I can't wait.
All right, I don't know if this is gonna pour in. I'm already making a mess, dude. You know what though? That was exactly right.
Okay, so I definitely get the chocolate notes.
Yeah?
It's very pronounced in this, like a very dark chocolate, bittersweet chocolate. You get a little hint of cherry. So it's like smoked dark chocolate. And then you put a little cherry in there, you dip it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude. This is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So up front, I get that dark chocolate note that I was talking about. I get a little bit of vanilla and caramel in there. A little bit of almonds and walnuts in there as well. Just kind of lingering in the back. But then you start getting some of that heat from the 1920.
Mm-hmm.
It starts kind of coming at you at the very end there. I think that this, my friend, is as alive as it gets. If you guys have both of these bottles and don't mind spending a little bit to kind of mix them together and blend them, I highly recommend it. I am actually enjoying this very much.
You know, I'm not a big fan of 1920 as we talked about in the past.
I know, we've said that and I am appalled.
I know, but I think the 1910 should smooth it out very nicely, really calm it down a little bit, and give it that extra kind of desserty flavor.
So for my first Frankenstein, I will call this one the Battle of the Birds, which is Wild Turkey 101 8-year and Eagle Rare 10. 2 legendary Kentucky bourbons with totally different personalities, blending together and making a baby.
Oh my God, I cannot wait to try this one.
I went 60% Wild Turkey and 40% Eagle Rare because I wanted that bold rye spice and kick from the turkey to lead the way. But I also needed the Eagle to smooth things out with a sweeter, oak-driven and vanilla profile. This is like a buff turkey, but you know what? I think that a rare turkey is even better. Oh my gosh, I'm making a mess.
I'm excited to try this one.
Oh, me too.
These are 2 great bottles.
Yeah, let's see if they play well together.
All right, so I'm getting a little like dusty vanilla.
Dusty vanilla.
Yeah.
If there's any vanilla that I like, it's a dusty one.
You know, Wild Turkey is known for their like dusty smell, and I honestly don't normally get that when I have just the Wild Turkey. But for some reason, it seems like the Eagle Rare brings that out more. Oh man, when it first hit my tongue, it was super thick and oily, and then all of a sudden, the rye spice all at once like attacked me.
Oh no.
It just came in all at once. No, in a good way.
Okay, good. So it felt like 2 birds were battling it out.
Yes.
For supremacy in your tongue.
That's very true. That's a weird way to put it, but it's very true.
I'm a weird guy.
Interestingly though, it was a quicker finish than I was expecting, because normally individually, they have a fairly decent finish.
Oh, that's a shame.
Still, it was a fantastic pour, fantastic blend. I am gonna mark this one steadily alive.
I love it. All right, so we got 2 alive ones.
Yes.
That's great.
Great start.
It sure is, isn't it? And here's the beauty about all this. If you have bottles that you were gifted that you're not a fan of, hey, try blending them with some of the stuff that you like, and maybe you'll see something different. Maybe you'll get a different sort of feel for that bottle that you didn't get before. Huh. Okay. This is an interesting one.
Yes, it is. For my second blend, I'm gonna call this one the Pacific Rim. Now, I don't know how this is gonna go, but this is a blend of Nika from the barrel from Japan and Starward Twofold from Australia.
Wow.
Yeah,
They're very different too.
very different. The only thing they have in common is they both sit in the Pacific.
Okay.
And that's why I chose them.
I'm ready for this.
This has nothing to do with flavor profiles, but everything to do with geography. So I thought it'd be fun to see what happens when you kind of collide these 2 bold flavors from opposite ends of the whiskey world. I'm gonna go 65% Nika and 35% Starward because Nika has that dense, higher proof complexity I wanted as the backbone, but Starward's wine cask fruitiness adds a brightness and should keep it from getting too heavy.
Okay, if you say so.
Yeah, that's what I say. Damn, I'm good. By the way, these are all based off of 30 milliliter pours, which equate to about 1 ounce.
Look at the color on that baby. I guess with the wine influence, you get some of this color. I am very interested in this. Okay. I'm getting like chlorinated pool.
Great start.
I feel like because they both have malted barley, they have a lot of that influence in here. It's very grain heavy. More so than the Starward by itself, which typically is a lot more fruit forward. I'm not getting a ton of fruit here, given how fruit forward the Starward is.
That is not promising.
No, it's very nice.
Really?
So the twofold is very, very fruit forward. The Nika has a little bit more of that peatiness to it. So putting them both together gives me a little bit of that Amroot Fusion feel where you're getting some of that malted barley, you're getting some of that like coffee notes and dark chocolate. And it has a really long finish because it's just sitting there and evolving. I will definitely give this one an alive.
Wow.
I was very impressed.
Wow.
I did not think this was gonna work.
And the fact that you called the smell chlorinated pool water, I was like, that is not looking good for me.
I didn't think so either, to be honest. But somehow this thing works. All right, Ryan, are you ready for my next blend?
I'm excited.
You should be.
Yeah.
This is exciting stuff. My next blend is called Arseny Larsen. You like that?
I do.
Very clever.
I love the rhyming.
The arson part of it is a nod to the Whiskey Roll Fire in 1910 that led to Old Forester to re-barrel their whiskey into heavily charred barrels. And thus, 1910 was born.
Oh, so you're going to use 1910 as well.
I am going to use 1910 as well. We both came up with this separately and we both had our own thing and we both ended up using the same bottle.
I love it because 1910 is a great bottle.
And having that double oak feel is gonna add to the complexity of Larceny. So I went 60% Larceny and 40% 1910. And the Larceny brings that wheated barrel proof punch, and the 1910 should soften it with a toasted smokiness.
God, this sounds delicious.
It's gonna be incredible.
Man, I'm excited for this one.
I promise you, you're gonna like it. I hope. I don't know. I honestly haven't tried it.
Oh, look at that cork pop.
It got really loud up front, and then it just went at the end. I don't know how I feel about that one. Enjoy, my friend.
Well, I'll tell you, just that first overall smell, the proof is there. And that's okay. That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Especially with these two because they're very oak forward. That's what I like.
Nice. So. I like that. I like that you like it, Ryan. I'm here to please the masses, but I'm also here to please my buddy Ryan.
It's like super caramel vanilla forward, but very oaky and a little bit of spice in there too. No pool chlorine in this one. So that one definitely packs a punch. Still, and the Larceny leads the way, so that's to be expected. Very, very vanilla forward. I was surprised by that. I was expecting more oak than vanilla, but I'm getting about the same on both. This is very nice. Got a long finish too.
Nice.
Yeah. Dude, you gotta try it.
Oh, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
I get a lot of oak on the smell.
Yes.
A lot of like fireside wood.
Oh, nice. I can't give this anything but an alive rating.
Yes!
Yes. Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. If you guys like oaky stuff, this is the blend for you. If the Larceny Barrel Proof is a little too much for you on its own, adding this 1910 in it is a great trick.
I'm glad it worked. I mean, I'm really happy that you're happy, and I'm happy that I'm happy, and I'm happy that we're all happy. We all should be happy. We're drinking whiskey. And talking about making everybody happy, nothing makes people happier than wearing a really, really nice t-shirt.
So down in the description below, we have a brand new merchandise store, which we have linked to. You can find all kinds of bourbon related t-shirts, movie themed t-shirts, rocks glasses, whatever you need, it's probably there.
Guys, the best way to support our channel is to buy the products in the description below.
You can show them off to all your friends. All right, for my next blend, this is gonna get a little bit more complicated. I call this one the Lord of the Glens. It's a nod to 3 distilleries from 3 different regions and 3 Glens. We got Glenmorangie from the Highlands, Glenallachie from Speyside, and Glen Scotia holding it down for Campbelltown. Each of these brings something different to the table. For example, the Glenmorangie is gonna add your light citrusy fruit forward base. The Glenallachie is gonna bring a little bit of that sherried richness along with some proof. And then Glen Scotia, which I'm a little nervous about adding to this one because Campbelltown typically has that funk, briny kind of taste to it. I split this one 35, 30, 35. I'm trying to keep the ends balanced and give Glenallachie just enough space in the middle to pull it together.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm just doing this one for the name also. This one could very well be awful. Not even close. Oh, crushed it.
Okay, so I mean, this feels like a Scotch, you know?
Okay.
But it's interesting because I'm getting some fruit flavor and I definitely get some of that funk
Yeah.
from the Scotia. It actually is pretty overpowering on this.
The funk?
The funk.
Really?
Yeah.
George Clinton's in there?
Maybe so. You got enough Glens in there. Throw a George in there as well. You know, it's interesting because I'm getting a lot of that fruit forward flavor you'd expect from a Glenmorangie or Glenallachie. And I'm also getting a lot of that funk and brininess from the Glen Scotia there at the very back, you know, but it's there. It's interesting. I don't want to say that this is a full-on dead. I don't think this is a dead, but I would say it's like Frankenstein is still missing like a limb or two, but he's almost there,
Okay.
you know? But it's not bad. It's interesting. Honestly, there are a lot less interesting scotches out there. And I would honestly drink this, you know, I wouldn't say every day, but you know, every once in a while. All right, let's move on to the next blend.
All right.
All right, my next blend is called The Adventures of Pete and Pete, which is a nod to the old Nickelodeon show that I used to watch when I was a young little lad. Only here, it's 2 peated whiskeys teaming up for one smoky ride. I used Talisker 10 from Scotland for its briny, peppery smoke, and Teeling Black Pits from Ireland, which brings a soft, peat character with some orchid fruit and some malt sweetness underneath.
Those are 2 great choices.
Right?
So you got Pete from Scotland and Pete from Ireland.
And they're working together in perfect harmony.
Oh, man.
As they should. I went 55% Talisker and 45% Teeling to let the maritime smoke lead the way.
Okay.
But the Black Pits adds just enough balance and fruit to just round it out nicely. Or so I hope. We shall see. You will let me know. All right, so we got 15. Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. I got this. I don't got this.
Nope.
All right. This is becoming harder and harder to do the more we drink.
Wow, you know what's interesting?
Yeah?
I'm actually not getting a lot of peat on the nose.
What the hell?
Yeah. I don't know if they like cancel each other out, if that's possible.
I don't think they should.
I don't know, I don't think so
I
either,
don't
but
think that's chemistry.
no, I'm getting like more of what you'd expect from a coastal whiskey. Sort of like the saltiness, like the seaweed almost. But the peat is actually somewhat muted.
Okay.
That's very interesting. I was not expecting that.
I wasn't either.
Okay. The peat's full force there.
Thank God. Okay.
Yes.
All right. It didn't cancel each other out.
No, on the taste, if you want to try it, it's definitely peaty. There's some fruit in there as well. I'm getting almost like peaches or that kind of fruit to go along with it. I'd almost call it a good introduction to peat because it's there, but it's not going to be like your Ardbeg or your Lagavulin that is super heavily peated. That was excellent. I'm definitely going to give that an alive rating.
Oh, yes, he's alive.
This next blend is for all of our UK friends out there. I'm gonna call this one the Brexit Blend.
The Brexit Blend. I like how we got a little political on that one.
So this one is actually a mix of whiskeys from all the countries across the United Kingdom. We've got Cotswolds Founder's Choice from England, Glenfiddich 12 from Scotland, Penderyn Legend from Wales, and we've got Bushmills Black Bush from Northern Ireland. One bottle from each nation.
Wow.
The percentages here were tricky because I had to mess with this one quite a bit to get the flavor profile the way I liked it, so hopefully you like it as well. So I went with 35% of the Cotswolds because it's bold, it's got that cask strength foundation to it. And then from that, I added 25% Bushmills to add sort of a rich, sherried, smoother flavor to it. Then I went 20% each of the Glenfiddich 12 and the Penderyn because they're both very fruit forward. They're gonna add a little bit of floral notes and some of that malt into it as well. So I'm expecting this one to be a blend of harmony and tension, just like the UK itself.
I love the thought put into this, and I cannot wait to try it, especially since you tried it already before and you messed around with the blend. I appreciate you putting that much work into 1 ounce. This is very good. At least on the nose, I'm getting a lot of fruit and lightness. It's like, picture this. I'm walking down an orchard and there's trees everywhere. And I'm getting apples right over here. And I'm getting apricots over there. And I'm just inhaling all of the smells from all of these fruits. That's what I'm getting right here.
If that doesn't make you want to try it, I don't know what will.
So right up front, I'm getting a ton of fruit.
Okay.
Like I was expecting, a lot of apple. But then I'm getting a little bit more spice and kick than I would expect. This is a very complex pour because I am getting a lot of the fruit that you would get from Irish whiskeys typically, but you're getting some of that heat that you're getting from some of the other ones that are higher proof. This is very good. This is alive all the way.
Wow. And that's actually one of the reasons I went with Cotswolds as the largest percentage, was because the other three are very light and the Cotswolds is cask strength and it's gonna really add a lot of depth to it. So that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, and you nailed it. We are heading back to the States because my next Frankenstein is Old Grand Woody.
Is that a character from Toy Story?
That is a character, I don't know where it's from. And I probably don't want to watch it, to be honest with you.
Fair enough.
Because this is a working title. I'm not very proud of that name. However, it is a blend of Old Grandad 114 and Woodford Reserve wheat. High rye meets soft, delicious wheat. I went with 60% Old Grandad to bring in that bold, spicy Kentucky profile, and 40% Woodford wheat to smooth things out and add a little creaminess and light vanilla notes. The spice leads, the wheat finishes, and it all complements each other nicely for this beautiful complex blend that you are about to have, Mr. Ryan, and I hope you guys try it at home as well.
God, it's like a granddad peeing. I'm getting like some heat from it.
Yeah, you'll get that from the 114.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting some heat from it. I'm getting this nutty note, like almonds maybe.
That's probably from the wheat.
Yeah.
The nose on this is really nice. I experimented with this before and I really enjoyed it. So hopefully you will enjoy it as well.
Yeah, the nose is fantastic. So not only did I get the almond notes on the nose, I get them on the finish as well.
Right?
Yeah, it definitely packs a punch. I'm not getting a lot of the wheat in there. Not as much as I was expecting to get. I think the 114 kind of overpowers it. I think the rye kind of really overpowers the wheat in this one. So we haven't ranked one dead yet, and I think that's a good sign. And I'm not gonna rank this one dead either. I think this is a great blend. If you have these two lying around, I would definitely recommend trying this out, but maybe adjusting the percentages a little more, maybe 50-50. But honestly, I enjoyed it.
I think that's a great point. And the beautiful part about this is that both bottles are under $40. With this one specifically being like 25, I think.
Right.
It is. So when you have that, It's a no-brainer. You could get these two, you could enjoy them on their own, but you could also blend them together and make a really complex whiskey, I think, because you got the wheat, you got that rye and the bourbon. Obviously you have more corn. So putting them all together, you get practically a 4-grain or at least a 3-grain bourbon, and I think you can really enjoy that.
I completely agree. This next one is personal for me. So I grew up in Massachusetts, and hockey's always been my favorite sport. So of course, I'm calling my next blend, Let's Go Bruins. Bruin comes from the old Dutch word for brown, and it was used in European folklore to refer to a brown bear. So naturally, I had to build a blend using 2 whiskeys with the word bear in the name. One from the US, one from Canada.
I know exactly where this is going.
Yes, classic cross-border rivalry for hockey. We've got Bear Fight, an American single malt with some smoke and spice, and we've got Bearface, a Canadian whiskey aged in 3 different types of oak barrels. 50-50, let the bears fight it out in Eddie's stomach.
Look at the color. Look at the difference in the color. This is so much darker than this one. I am so excited about this.
Some barrel influence here. And I got it on my leg.
You know, the smell is really interesting. I'm getting a lot of the grains. It smells like cereal to me. Almost like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting on this. Oh, this is really nice. This to me is the perfect blend of corn and barley going together. It's super sweet.
Really?
And then you get a little bit more of that sort of saltiness from the malted barley at the end.
Interesting.
This is a complete winner for me.
Really?
Oh, this is fantastic.
Oh man, who knew?
2 bears went at it, and then they realized that they're better off together than fighting it out. So they fought for a little bit, and then they stopped, and they made love. They had a baby, and this is the baby. All right, guys, this is the final blend, and I hope that it's not gonna kill the whole thing, because this is a controversial one. And I am calling my final Frankenstein blend Sir Eddie. Because if Beyonce gets her own whiskey with Sir Davis, I think I deserve my own. Sir Davis uses 51% rye and 49% malted barley in its mash bill, so I will try to do the same with my blend. Maybe, I don't know, I'll try. I'll see what happens. Because it's very hard to hit that 1% difference with these little beakers.
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna get that 1% in here, but I believe in you. What are you gonna be using here?
Well, for my Sasha Fierce ripoff, I'm using Still Austin Rye, a local Texas bottle full of personality and spice. And to top it all off, I'm gonna hit you with the Balvenie Double Wood, a refined Speyside Scotch with sherry sweetness and a very long finish.
I'm interested to see how these two pair up.
I am too, because I've never done this before. 15 and a dot. That's more than a dot, but I could always pour it back in. Okay, here we go. Back at it again.
This is gonna take 30 minutes.
Yep. Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay, this is what happens when you leave this one for last. This is some serious skill over here. We're at 16 right now.
And we're at 8.
Come on, baby. Oh no! Look at this. It's right at the 15 with a little drop over.
A few moments later.
I want to see if the Sir Eddie lives up to the Sir Davis.
I hope so. Look, I'll tell you something. I'm not the biggest Beyonce fan, but the Sir Davis I think is pretty damn good.
I think so too. Oh, this is off to a promising start.
I like that. I like promising.
God. Interestingly, I'm getting caramel notes.
Wow. That's surprising because you wouldn't expect that from the rye or the malted barley.
No. So I get a lot of the rye spice kicking in on the backside of the tongue. Now the Sir Davis, they finished that one in the PX casks, the PX sherry, so that gives it that extra fruity note. But I'm also getting kind of a strawberry note on this finish here. That's interesting to me.
Right, well the Balvenie is finished in sherry oak as well, so you get some of that sherry, and that's why I used the Balvenie in particular.
Nice.
It's because I wanted to have some of that sherry influence.
We haven't had a dead vote all night, unfortunately.
Oh no.
I'm gonna keep it that way.
Yes!
We have our 10th Alive blend. I'll tell you what, this was fantastic. Try this actually side by side with the Sir Davis. I think you'd be surprised. 10 Frankensteins later, and you know what? They were all freaking amazing.
They were great.
Yes.
I'm so proud of us.
And that's the fun thing, like if you have bottles laying around your house that you maybe not particularly fond of, or you're interested in seeing how it would pair with something else, try doing these Frankenstein blends. You might be surprised. So let us know in the comments which blend you would have brought to life. And if you've got your own Frankenstein combo, drop it below. We might even feature it in our next iteration of this video.
If you like this kind of madness, then watch us go head to head making old fashions with secret ingredients. That video was a ton of fun.
Or hit up one of our whiskey tier lists where we rank bottles from various categories.
Like, subscribe, and share with your friends so that they too can join us in whiskey experiments, poor decisions, and questionable life choices. Until next time,
Cheers.
cheers.